Let's do this thing. Okay, so guys, unmute yourselves because I want to ask you a couple questions right out of the gate. And so if you're all muted, I'm not going to be able to hear you talk. And so I'm curious. So there are two words that are, there's a couple of words actually that are in our, in the explanation of what we're doing today. So with that being said, I want to hear from you. What does exponential? You set up for this exponential? You set up for a partnership? You showed up for the word network. Okay. If you didn't, then I'm not sure why you showed up. And maybe it was just watch me talk and hear the craziness of Randy Olive. However, if you showed up because of a title, you showed up because of these are the three words that are mainly picking into the description of what we're talking about today. So my curiosity to you is what does, so the topic is exponential partnerships, and it's about using our network to further get network. So these are the main key words in that. So what does exponential mean to you? So those of you who showed up for the word exponential, why did you show up, or what was the reason for which you showed up to hit that exponential point? What does exponential mean to you? Okay, I have the ability to wait. Maybe you didn't hear the question. Maybe it's me. What does exponential mean to you? I will wait, gladly wait to get a response. This is not a challenge to me.
Growing twice at a time.
Say again?
2 becomes 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, then 64. It just compiles and compiles and gets bigger.
Okay, so
growth. What does that mean? It's growth. Growth. Big growth.
Okay. Big growth. What else?
Exciting.
Exciting? I heard exciting. The question that guys are popping in the live feed, it is, what does exponential mean to you? So the three words that are going to be key into all of this, the three words that pop into here is going to be exponential partnerships and network. If you read the description of today, these are the words. So I saw Kenny pop in something in the chat.
He said exponential is double grow from each time.
Double each time. And again, what does it mean to you? You showed up for the idea to be able to have exponential something. So what does exponential mean to you? Or did that not matter? In the big scheme of things, exponential wasn't a big deal. You're looking at the partnership or the network.
Exponential, I think unlimited.
Unlimited? Like that? Unlimited? It does feel that way, right? Because if things go exponentially, then it said, if things go exponentially, well, then at that point, how does it actually slow down? I can't slow down exponential if it's really going to keep that doubling effort. What else, guys?
An increase.
Increase? You're just looking at it simply increase. I'm down for that. Okay. I want you to think about this, because when we start showing up to some of these classes, one of the biggest challenges we're going to have is that we're going to start consuming content that we can't put into action. Do I believe in exponential? And that's the reason why I wanted to stop and get into this. And I know some of you are like, Randy, exponential, it's math. Something raised to a power, exponential. Like, did you not go to high school? What I want to make sure that we're connecting to is that when I look at the ability for exponential growth, and what we're going to talk about today is having that idea of exponential. Exponential is about scalability for my networking, for my marketing, for my ability to have an effect in what I'm doing. Exponential is a desire for most people because they want a higher return on their investment. If I look at a return on my investment and I'm just getting a very simple one-to-one, one-to-one does not have any excitement. One-to-one does not have any momentum. One-to-one does not have a whole lot of anything, if we're honest about it, at all. One-on-one is not the reason why we show up. Exponential may not even be some of the reasons why some of you guys are showing up. I'm glad for Crystal, that you said increase. Some of you guys, you need to understand like what this means to you. You may not want big growth right now because you couldn't handle or you're not leveraged for big growth. Some of you are looking at it from like, well, I'm just going to take a piece of this and go, I want to increase, because something can actually be raised to the 1.0001 power and just be a slight increase. But over time, the reason why I like to look at exponential is I want to be able to see that curve do this. I think all of us want to be able to see that curve do that. Some of us are ready for exponential right now because we have the leverage to get there. Some of us are not ready for exponential, and we need it to be able to, but we're not ready for the exponential to be as strong right now. Let me take that back. Why I want to use the idea, the concept of exponential versus just growth or multiples is because like, if I'm looking at the desire that I have for our agents, I really want to see at some point this hockey stick. Because even if I had something raised to the 0.000000001 power, at some point that's going to compound to where this is going to take off like crazy. And that's what I want from us. That's really what I want for us. I said from us. That's really what I want for us, because we all deserve to have that lifestyle by design. In this hockey stick turn, that's where we can start to gain a lot of the extreme leverage that we want for our legacy, right? That's when retirement can come into place. That's when kids' education can come into place. That's when all of the reasons for which I do this, the driving force for me doing this business comes into place when I understand the potential for exponential in everything that I do. And exponential can still be a slow growth, but at some point it's going to take a kick. And it's going to be like a hockey stick, okay? I'm no mathematician, and some of you who are like, well, Randy, let's actually have a conversation about that. Conceptually, you can understand what I'm saying, is that I want to look at your business compounding over time. And compounding is really magnificent for getting us into the spaces where we want to see our lives by design, okay? This is a life by design conversation. Partnerships. What does partnerships mean to you? Help me understand partnerships in your brain. I want to hear your brain spit out what you mean by partnerships.
Relationship.
Relationships, okay, love it.
Trust.
Trust, like it.
Caring.
Mutually beneficial.
Caring, mutually beneficial. Caring, mutual benefit. I'm going to circle or underline one word in here. For me, it's this word is a big piece to it. The idea of partner. Partner is a big piece of that equation. What else, guys?
Association between two or more people.
Association. There's not a C personality in there at all, is there? I love it. What else? And that was a joke, by the way. First, I think that was Russ. Russ, I'm guessing you've got a C in there. Either you're stronger in the C or you're secondary in your C, but your C is probably in your disc profile. What else?
That's very true, Randy. Very true.
I love it. What else, guys? And I'm okay to move on. If nobody else wants to share, I'm okay to move on. But I want you to really, you see, today I'm digging into where we're coming from, okay? I'm digging in right now as to where we're coming from for multiple reasons. I really want to make sure that we are getting beyond now the moment that we have in just showing up and actually getting into the mode of application. So exponential is about, if we're looking at tapping into exponential, we understand that at some point we're preparing ourselves to be leveraged for the hockey stick. We're looking at our partnerships, and I love this, and you've got to really understand this. If you're looking at a partnership, this is why I want to have this conversation. Most of us aren't actually understanding that the first word of partnership is partner, okay? I would tell you right now, any of our vendors who are on the call, and I saw Allison, not sure if you're still there in Savannah, they understand this at a high level, is the understanding and the idea behind partner. Collaboration. Thanks, Nicole. Collaboration. if we don't really dig into this concept and what we believe in partnership, exponential partnerships, it's not a thing. It's exponential leeching from somebody else. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I say that like as much like I don't want to be as negative, but that's really a negative connotation. If we don't understand this word, we're actually exponential leeching from people. There is a sense that this togetherness has to happen. Okay, so it's mutually beneficial. Network. What do you think when you say network? When you showed up to talk about network, what do you mean by network? Let's hear it. What does network mean to you?
Connections.
Exchanging information between each other that would be mutual beneficial to each other. Reaching out to other people, helping other people, and hoping other people would help you.
I put information share. I kind of summed it down, and then what I put is your help and a little recycling symbol. So the help is going around, is reciprocating. What else, guys? Network. What else?
Interactions.
You say again?
Interactions.
Interactions. If you're just joining in, we're understanding and defining kind of where the content is moving today, and so I want to make sure and connect to what y'all showed up for. The description of today's class, the exponential partnerships and understanding how to expand your network. So we've asked, what does exponential mean to you? What does partnership mean to you? And we're on, what does network mean to you? So if you want to pipe in, you're welcome to. A common link. Sorry, that faded away before I could get there. A common link. Crystal, will you help me?
Yes.
Nicole posted.
Yes. It is a common link for a common goal.
Oh. I want to add into this, Nicole. I like this because we can also be the word specific or purposeful. So that's just, I'm going to add. I'm going to add in a couple words there. I like it. What else, guys? Anything else? Hey, I'm okay with this. If you're good, I'm going to be good. I'm going to give it a thumbs up to move on. And I hope at this point you've already gathered something about yourself, or you've internalized some of the conversation that I'm having with you, to realize that when we show up in these spaces, that we've got to understand what we mean when we want to learn and grab this information and put it into our businesses, okay? Even if we just want to grab this information and put it into our lifestyle, okay? Exponential. What does exponential, the future tense of exponential mean? What does the future tense of partnership mean? What does the networking mean? How do we start moving our brains into the space of activity and not just consumption? And I'm afraid that we're going to do a lot of consumption here in the next, we've already had, but here in the next few weeks, it's going to get more and more on the consuming side and less on the activity side. Okay. James Rimmer, who's a Zillow killer, he said yesterday, which I thought was really great. One of the things that he does, he aligns his goals, right? So here's his goals. He's got all of his goals. We call it GPS or 135 in our world. And he said, if you stack your content that you're consuming on top of it, all that content should be filtering into your goals. The things that are not, you need to cut them out. If it's not content that's filtering into the activity or the actions that you desire, then you need to go ahead and cut it out of your world. And I like that. I like the visual of that, because everything that we're consuming right now should be filtering into our world that we can put into actions. All right, so exponential partnerships. The very first thing that I want to talk about, guys, is a lot of us, especially in the real estate world, we all have partnerships. I want to open up and get specific about some of the partnerships that we can have, or that we do have, that will build into that expanding our network side of things, which I think is what most of you showed up for, was that little tagline about expanding our networks. And so we're gonna dig into that probably for the rest of the time. So using our network to further network. Our vendor partners. I just want to make sure that you understand, if you have treated your vendor as a sponsor for your activities, you do not have partnership. Okay? Be real blunt about that. If 99.9% of the time that you look at your vendor partners and they show up to be a sponsor, you don't have partnership. And so I'm going to encourage and challenge every single one of you to start understanding where are your vendor relationships that you have right now. Because if you want to be able to capitalize on somebody's network, you have a huge opportunity with all of your vendor partners, but you don't have partnership if you treated them like a sponsor. So if we're talking about our vendor partners, I'm going to tell you right now, I am loving watching a few of our vendor partners who have taken seriously what's going on right now and finding ways in which they can create community. And they have their own networks. That's the biggest thing that we're talking about. This vendor has a network, and they've got a group of people that is in their network. When they post or they have comments or they send out messages or they're writing stuff, their network is what is getting attached to their message. Their story is going to their network. If you put yourself into that message, you just inserted yourself into their story and into their network, okay? Now, here's the biggest thing when we think about this. This, again, is not a leeching moment. If we're going to consider partnerships, or we're going to consider exponential partnerships, this is not a leeching moment. I better be bringing something to the table, okay? And I know this is a very duh statement, and yet I don't think we're considering it when we get into the busyness of what's going on, when the swirl of our brain is happening with the way that coronavirus has isolated us. When we're looking at the ways in which we're just getting into a new norm and a new rhythm, we're really not thinking this way. And the way in which we need to be thinking is, how can I contribute to the people who are already in my network that already have their own exponential networks? I'm going to tell you right now, it is in this vendor space. Anything and everything that a vendor does, you need to be blowing that up in your own space. The way that we contribute back to vendors will reciprocate. So how can you give back to your vendor partners who have been giving to you for so long? The easiest way to tap into the vendor partner networks is to be the one who's giving them value first right now. The way you tap back into your vendor partner networks is to give them value now, because they are very quick to reciprocate that. At least in my world, I've watched every single one of our vendors. I guarantee you, if you were to give something of significance back into the world of Allison, of Savannah, of Kim, of Red Star, of all the Sacchieri brothers, all the people who are partnered with us, I promise you, if you gave something back into their space, and sometimes it's just gratitude, they will not hesitate to put you on blast. I've been watching it. And if they put you on blast, here's what's happening in most of their worlds. They have their business pages. Most of them, because their personalities, all their business stuff is actually connected to their personal stuff. Yes, this is all the realtors. This is all their friends and family. So now they may have just celebrated you in front of all their friends and family. If their friends and family are looking at what's happening in the world and they're looking at you as a person that's helping support one of the people that's most important to them, you just became a catalyst in their world. You've just given yourself the opportunity to expand. You will look like a leech if you go and start asking from somebody something that you don't deserve. And we don't deserve, okay? We don't deserve to actually be going into our vendors right now asking them for things when we've considered them a sponsorship for our whole careers. If they are a true partner in your world, the door is open. The way that we ensure that the door is open to us is to give back right now. You should be giving back into these guys, okay? Your vendors need to be feeling the love that you have for what they've brought to your world, okay? They should be feeling the love that you have for what they've been able to bring to your world. They are not sponsors. They are vendors. And so you don't actually have exponential partnerships with your vendors if you've treated them like sponsors. I know I've done 3 laps around that, and there's for good reason. Many of us look at our vendors as if they're just the person who gets a checkbox and that they're not really in relationship with us, okay? And I do want you to think about this. All of this is about powering their network. if you take into consideration, I'm just going to use a generic version of somebody who is a title extraordinaire. Okay, so when I'm looking at some of the people who market for title people at a high level, there's a reason why they're marketing for title at a high level, because they're probably good at marketing, which means they probably have a significant network and they have a significant database. And in a world right now where you want to get connected to more people, you should probably find a way in which you can partner with them in some of their endeavors and make sure that you're giving back into their world. And you'll gain two things. One is a deeper relationship. Two is instant access into their network. I'm just telling you, if you're not doing these things, if you're looking to leech things, you're not going to win. Crying with my yes, y'all do feel the love. We do treat people much differently. So yeah, let me take a step back and make sure that you guys know, like, I'm saying this in a general sense, but like, we treat our vendors very, 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 very well. We treat them like partners all of the time. Okay. So if you are looking to be able to build your business networking wise and tap into somebody else's network, you got to change your mindset. You've used your vendors as sponsors and they should be your partners. And if they're your partners, you have instant access right now in the time of need. And you know who is getting instant access to their world right now is the people who have always treated them like partners and not like sponsors. I have no bones about saying this kind of stuff either. I'll happily have conversations with leadership around the world telling them that you've been treating people like dirt. Okay, awesome. Moving on, because I won't stand on the soapbox today. By the way, if you want to know how you can jump into this, you probably have a good friend with somebody. Just ask them, hey, what can I do to bring value to your world today? Put them on blast. I love what I've watched. Allison, I've watched a lot of the movement mortgage. I've seen it happening through some of the Sakier brothers, and I've watched Savannah do it a little bit as well, and some of the other folks at Celebrity Title. So I'm watching some of our vendor partners just put some of their favorite people on blast. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun to watch too. And you think that doesn't make an impact on the people that's in their network? Okay, moving on. Second thing I want to talk about is business owners. I'm going to switch colors, mainly because I like to sniff all my markers, because I'm a little bit awkward and obsessive compulsive. What's that one smell like? Purple. It smells like purple. Business owners. There are some people who are out there right now who do a really good job at doing the small business push for your farming. And what I mean by that is you show up and you get into your farming world and you go out and you go to your restaurants and you sit down and you're like, hey, can I speak to the manager real quick? And the manager comes up and you're like, hi, I'm a realtor and I'd like to connect you to my network. And so I'd like to film you just talking about how wonderful your business is. And then I'm going to blast it to everybody. I'm going to tag you and it's going to be wonderful. It's a really great thing. And I think a lot of us are missing out on the opportunity to network through somebody else's business and truly like give them the reviews. Like I can go into small business. A small business community is like this. I put my message out there to the small business community that like, guys, everybody needs to show up. This small business is BA. And now everybody's looking at going like, I like this. This is a great, I like this. Okay. It is a really great farming tool to go into small businesses and to put them on blast on your social network or wherever else. You may have a website, a YouTube channel, whatever it looks like. This is one of the greatest things that anybody could do utilizing. I call it a farming technique because I think you should put it into community terms. Hey, I'm out here near Longwood and Firestone, and we're over at John's restaurant. There's the best margaritas in town. John, what's your secret behind your margaritas? Blah, 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 blah. Also, if you're looking to move into Cypress, Texas, #1 place you should be hitting is John's Margarita Town. I don't know. I just probably made up 4 business names all in the same example. Why did you stop? I'm curious right now. Why did you stop? I'm seeing so few of these happening right now. Why did we stop right now? And especially in some of the towns where we're still able to get delivery, why did you stop giving out people and giving credit to to small businesses? There is still the way in which you can go and show up into a parking lot and get your to-go order, make a quick video. Obviously, adhere to all the rules and regulations, CDC, your local rules about staying in place, all those things. But if you have the ability to go pick up your order, show that business. Guys, picking up margaritas right now from Rudy's. Can't wait to get blah, 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 blah back home. As a matter of fact, I asked Rudy if he'd send me a quick video this morning through Facebook, and this is what he sent me. Hi, my name is Rudy, and you guys should show up. We got specials on blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Guys, if you're doing this, if you're out there, you're trying to get some variety in your life, hit up Rudy's right now. Why haven't we continued to do this? So when I'm looking at our ways in which we can start doing this, there are still ways in which we can go into the business owners. You need to identify every single one of the business owners in your world, and you need to support them virtually just as much as you support them showing up into their front doors. If they have the ability to get their product out online, you should be supporting them. Because here's what's really happening right now. So I've watched this happen at a high level. People who are creating small groups and people who are like, hey guys, all of our small business owners, tag yourself in our group so that we can start creating some momentum. And now we've already lost momentum if we're not doing this because some realtor down the road already started this and they're gaining the lion's share of the network. They're gaining the lion's share of the network because they're being active about doing the things that we already know that we should be doing, okay? So if I'm looking at what's going on right now, business owners should still be like your number one, like, gosh, networking moment. Business owners, small business owners. I'm going to tell you communities where I think it's the strongest, and I think it's nuts that people haven't taken over the heights. I look at the heights and I watch all the small businesses that are around, and even some of the big box stores are still some of those ones like Warby Parker's out there. Well, Warby Parker has a very small cultish following, right? Bonobos has a small cultish following. Like even their big boxes are still small business feel. I think it's nuts that anybody who lives in the heights right now doesn't have the strongest relationship in the world with every single small business owner. If I were farming the heights, I would not stop until I knew every single small business owner. I'm just telling you, if you want to win market share, you will win through small business owners. They support their communities at a high level. And so if you want to talk about exponential, get to know those people. Once you know those people and you can put them on blast, you can reciprocate the joy that you've had from experiencing their customer service or the satisfaction of their meals or the amazing customer service when you walk in the front door. We need to still be identifying our businesses. And for those of you who may not be in Houston, I spoke about the Heights just a second ago. The Heights is a very small, very tight, walkable community that doesn't really have any one particular agent who owns the majority of the market share. It's still a lot of just pot-marked agents. Sure, there are some who do better than others, but for the most part, nobody has a lion's share of that neighborhood or that area. When I look at our ability to be able to go in and capitalize and grow our networks for the cause of business growth and market share and exponential, small businesses will catapult us in a huge way. We're just not tapping into the way we should because we don't understand how it is exponential. We don't understand how their network truly works. If you did, you would be doing this probably more than you do open houses. I don't think you should. I think you should find the balance or the counterbalance. But if you understood this at a high level, you might be doing more than that than you would be doing open houses. I can't get people to do this enough. I talk about this literally every single week to somebody. Small businesses are where we win. Okay, I was a little bit soapboxy. I apologize. And yet that's the truth, man. It is 100% the truth. If you really want to be able to identify them, and right now, you need to go find the owners, and this is all the social media stuff right now. If you're not on social media and you don't like social media, change your mind. Change your mind. Everything's changing. We won't go back to normal. So all of you who are waiting for things to return to normal, that ship has sailed. Normal doesn't exist. If you don't believe me, talk to me again next year. Tell me what it was like a year later. Normal's gone. Normal has officially left the building. We've been talking about normal leaving for a very long time. We were just forced to make normal kicked out the door. Coronavirus kicked normal out the door. Our new normal is going to be highly, highly digital, highly virtual, highly social media, and it is going to be enhanced by our face-to-face one-on-one relationship conversations. Get into social media right now. You can contact anybody who's a business owner and get them to send you a private video that then you can put on blast to the world, connecting them into your own network, guess what? Automatically puts you in theirs. Exponential, okay? Hope this is making sense to you guys, and I love those that are still sticking around, because this is the stuff that will help you weather every single storm that could possibly come from the coronavirus quarantine. I'm looking for businesses to stay in business. There's a reason why we were officially real trends over the past 5 years. We were number 11 in growth over 5 years, exponential growth in 5 years in transactions and volume. There's a reason why we're this way, because I teach, I think, and I spit this out all the time. Our agents spit this out all the time. This is our activities. So I'm just sharing what we're doing with the world. This is our playbook. I'm just giving it away because I think we can. I think we should. Okay? Or you can come join us if you want. Selfless plug there. All right, guys. Next thing we're going to move into, business owners. Your own network. After this is about getting into your own network. Okay? You have more than likely been avoiding your own network to an extent. Okay? You've got to get a little bit more specific and more purposeful about your own network. And so I'm not going to go into a very long, drawn-out conversation there, but in your own network, you need to be doing a couple of things. And this is going to go back to social media. So a lot of this conversation right now, obviously, is happening in a virtual and a social media world because we can't be out and about as much as we should be. So I can still do this. But in my own network, here's how I make sure that I am taking advantage of my own network. Everybody who is in my network, my comments are really important as long as they're positive. Anybody who's going to perpetuate the curious, the confusion, the all that stuff, don't. Your network needs to hear your positivity. Your own network should be getting handwritten cards from you. Because I promise you this is what's going to happen. This is not the reason why you write it, but this is what's going to happen. They know that you care. So here's the deal. Your network needs to know that you care, that you can help, and that they can trust you. They're always looking at those aspects. So if your own network knows these things about you, and you send them this handwritten card, I guarantee you, because I do this all the time. I am not the best at social media content, like in the now, like I don't always post it right now. I'm usually like posting it in hindsight. There's some of you who are like really good at like when you get a great experience now, you're broadcasting it to the world. The only time that I immediately jump into my social media is when I get a handwritten card. I always take a picture of a handwritten card because it means a lot to me. Ask anybody who works our front desk. One of the saddest things in my day is when I go to the front desk when the mail's delivered. I'm like, did I get any mail? They're like, no. I'm like, I don't know. All right. I love handwritten cards. If you come into my office right on the left-hand side, there's a cork board where all of my handwritten cards, I post those. I love to see that. I love to feel that. We are right now digging into a world where relationship is so important. And it has become more heightened. I don't know if you're watching this or not, but relationship is so important. People are picking up the phones and having conversations in a time where they used to not. I saw a gal the other day post about all of her friends from college randomly got together in a Zoom call, and she said, why have I waited 10 years to start doing this? 10 years had gone by since they've had any kind of significant together time. They just decided all of a sudden, let's do our own little reunion, our own college reunion. And they're all in the same room. And she just talked about, she wrote a pretty long paragraph about all the feelings that like just rose up, the nostalgia, the excitement. We are ready, willing, and able to start getting into bigger, deeper relationships. Handwritten cards need to go to your network because they're going to put you on blast. And when they put you on blast, now you have become caring, trust. You can care, help, and trust anybody who is also in their network. And so now we've expanded our face and our ability to infiltrate other spaces with a simplicity of writing a handwritten card. Okay, our own network. And the other thing that I would say is that you've got to be able to bring into your own network, right? Into your own network. Where are your calls? This one isn't necessarily going to expand like this. This one right here, if they're hearing your voice, and they're having conversation with you. I actually talked to somebody the other day who I talk with all the time. We interact on a daily basis. I called her said, hey, just want to see how things are going. And she goes, as she hung up, she goes, man, Randy, it's just good to hear your voice. We talk all the time. And yet there's something really significant about what's happening right now for her to be able to say, man, it's really good to hear your voice. Here's what happens when things get beyond the coronavirus moment. All of these calls were so much proof of your care that you create raving fans. Those people who haven't really done a whole lot by way of giving you referrals won't think twice about it. So our ability to exponentially grow this space has become very significant. When we look at our own network and we get our heads out of our asses and we start treating them like they're relationships and not transactions. I'm going to say that again. When we get our heads out of our asses, when we start treating them like they're a relationship instead of treating them like they were a transaction, or that we were hopeful for a transaction out of them, because we have not been an advocate for their world. We've just become, actually, we've treated them just like this as well. We've got to treat our network as if they are our relationships, okay? So if you want to tap into this, start treating people differently. Treat them like they're relationships. Smells like a gumball machine in here, man, with all these smelling markers. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is support people. People. Each other. We should be supporting each other, okay? So we've done vendor, we've talked about business owners, we talked about our own network. Let's talk about each other. I think it's great to be able to support each other. This is the one where there's some balance, because obviously, you know, this is not one where I'm going to tell you to go steal somebody else's clients and somebody else's network. But I am going to tell you this, that, like, there's no harm in blowing people up and helping them, like, feel confident. Like, where I will say this has a pretty big impact is just like each other stuff. You don't have to comment to try and steal things from people or to do any of that kind of stuff. But the main thing here is in the each other side of things is not actually to gain an exponential network. This is just me telling you guys, treat people right. Treat each other good. Show the love. Like, this is a time in which people need to know that we're connected. So that's not a way to, like, grow your network. It was just my way of sneaking in the way to say, just be nice to each other, man. Just help each other. Just show up. We are not in competition. We're in competition, but there's so much abundance that we're really not competing at that high a level that we can't share the love. You're not competing at that high of a level that you cannot share the love. And so we need to be better together. We need to be digging in with each other, okay? The community of agents, the real estate world will grow and it will survive because of all of us, not because of one of us, okay? So the better together moment, we need that. We need that as a body of agents. We need that as a body of real estate professionals, okay? So that was just my little opportunity for a caveat. Now here's something that I'm going to give you guys as a very specific how-to. James, I've mentioned James a couple of times. I just really enjoy the way he speaks, the way he communicates, and the way he cares, especially for the agent, the body of real estate agents. If you really want to grow somebody else's network or expand your own network through somebody else, a group that is very specific in a cause seems to be a winning combination right now. Creating a group that is specific for a cause seems to be a winning combination right now, because I go and I get this group started and I bring my people into it, and I may only have 5 people. If the cause is significantly amazing, I keep using the word significant, I apologize, but if it is significant here, so here's my group, these people will start adding in their own. If it's not, they'll drop out, and that's fine. Your hope is that you create this cause to be strong enough that people will feel benevolent in bringing other people into this group. So the way that I've seen that happen really, really well, I've watched actually a great story, and she's a real estate agent in Houston. She's not in our group, but she is in the she's connected through another group that I'm a part of. But the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, when it shut down, she created the group for the vendor partnership, helping the vendors figure out how they're going to continue their business. She has like 100 and something thousand people, like almost instantly in her group. And now she is the champion of a cause that people are going to look and say, if I want to pick a real estate agent at some point, I'm going to pick the person who champions causes, who thinks like me, who I can trust, who cares. It's our moment to be able to champion a cause and to get people to be connected to something larger. We're craving community right now. And here's the thing, guys. We will cross-pollinate into some of our networks, and that's okay, because there's so much abundance. Housing is really good still. Real estate is really good still. So there's no shame in us getting out there, talking about it, spreading the love into our partners, spreading the love into our business owners, spreading the love into our network, being able to support each other. Every single thing that we do to talk about why things are so great still gives the world the understanding from a real estate professional that we're okay, that we're going to keep moving forward. We're still trudging through this. So if I really want to be able to network my network, it's time to give back to everybody who's in my world, to connect people through that. Because here's really what we're talking about. We're coming from contribution. If I contribute to somebody else's world and my goal is just to give, I've never seen anybody who's given who haven't at some point been able to receive back. If you help enough people get what they need, you'll always have what you want, okay? I want to open it up. If anybody has questions, or even if you're curious or you need some help, or if you need some ideas, or if you have a great idea, I'd love for anybody and everybody to have a moment to share. I know I asked you to unmute. You're welcome to drop it in the comment. I'm over here in Facebook Live. I've got Crystal over in our Google Meet. You're welcome to send some comments out. If not, I'm okay with that. We'll just end and pick up where we need to in the future. So if you have anything, I'd love to hear from you. If not, y'all are awesome, and I'm loving every single minute I get to spend with you, even though it's through the internet. Still kind of fun.
Hey, Randy, it's Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much.
Good. What do you got?
I had a quick question about the thank you cards. So whenever you're sending those out, whether it be friends or not necessarily clients, but I guess, friends or people that you maybe haven't reached out to in a while, do you recommend putting your card in there with it, or just going ahead and just, signing off as usual?
So it's going to be my opinion. So I'm going to go into my opinion mode.
Right.
Anybody who's in my friends or my acquaintance box, I don't have expectations for them unless I have a platform with them to be able to talk about or send me referrals. I don't talk about business with people who I don't have the platform. And so if I haven't talked with somebody for a long time, I wouldn't do it. I would absolutely not do it. If I have a connection with them, right? So if I've done enough to have a connection with them, I'm okay with that, but I'm also going to put it in the words like, hey, really great to see you, awesome, blah, 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 blah. I have the platform, so I've had constant communication with them, so I'm okay to be able to say, hey, man, it's an honor for me to help you and your friends or family. If you come across anybody, here's a couple of my cards for you to just keep on hand. Just quick little conversation, keep it there. Anybody who I have, it's just like, hey, just thinking about you, wanted to say hi. It's a balance, right? So that's just my opinion. It's a balance. I never sent my business cards to anybody except for those in my advocate group. So, and this is what I would about every quarter. It's like, hey guys, I just want to re-up on any of the business cards that you have as you're sharing them out in the community. Here's another stack of 10, and I would send them a text message or an email letting them know that. And when they received it, I would call and make sure that they got it. So I did it mostly with my advocates. I treated them differently. I had the platform to be able to ask them. I would say be careful about that, because you'll sound salesy and desperate if you send it to somebody whom you don't have the ability to have the conversation with.
Yeah.
And we don't we've ignored them for a very long time, we don't actually have a platform to ask. I'm just going to tell you that right now. If you haven't communicated with somebody regularly, you don't actually have the platform to do the ask that question. And again, Randy's
perfect. That makes total sense.
What else, guys? Anything else? Okay. All right, guys. Well, look, I'm good if you're good. Find something to put into your business immediately. It should be something that you can take from this and immediately start doing today. Okay? I'm going to encourage you, grab the one thing from this that needs to go into action and activity today. Show up with the ability to move the needle forward. Are awesome. Go be amazing.